1 week ago, the light turned back on in this Jets season that had previously felt like a wash. Yeah, okay, they lost to the Chiefs, barely. But Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football, and it gave you hope. The collective reaction was, that's great, Zach. Now do it again. Well, he did. This time in a win out in Denver. Dan Graca, the Jets radio host on 98.7 FM ESPN New York, kind enough to join us in studio tonight after a Jets win. About time. And, Zach Wilson played well. We'll get into that. I'm not going to call this a Zach Wilson game. I don't even want to talk about Nathaniel Hackett revenge. This is the Breece Hall game to me. He carried this football team on a day when they said, let's forget about the pitch count. Let's feed Breece. And they did the smart thing. That's a good game plan.
John, Breece is back, right?
Yeah.
If there was any doubts, Breece is back here. And it's kind of appropriate given that it was the scene of where his season ended last year when he tore his ACL in Denver after breaking off a home run touchdown run in that game against the Broncos. So to have it come full circle to where he's back, he gives them a big jolt. And he's had a couple of those big runs already this year. That first night against the Buffalo Bills where even he admitted he got winded a little bit there and got tracked down from behind. Last week in Kansas City, he broke one out into the open field. But to see him do that today on that field, it was a big jolt for the football team because you really needed to see this offense get going here. They were settling for a lot of field goals, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on here. But he is certainly a home run hitter on this offense, and you can use as many of them as possible if you're going to go the majority of the way without Aaron Rodgers.
It just makes such a difference for this offense, and we're seeing the flip side of it with the Giants not having Saquon Barkley. And if you're the Jets, boy, you've got Breece Hall. He is healthy. He is ready to roll and ready to just be fed the football 22 times today, 177 yards. He's averaging 8 a touch and then gets the touchdown. And, oh, by the way, 3 catches for 17 yards as well. You know, as you look at Zach Wilson and you don't want to ask him to do everything for you because he's not that kind of a quarterback. You've got Breece Hall to kind of fall back on and carry the load. That takes a lot of pressure off of Zach Wilson. And I think the way he played today, knowing that Breece was able to carry that load, that made such a difference.
And it keeps the defense on their toes, too, right?
Sure.
Because you have that running game, which, okay, if you have Breece Hall doing his thing, the opposing defense is going to sneak another guy down into the box because they want to shut that run down and dare the quarterback to beat you over the top. But you've got weapons in this passing game, too, John, right? You've got Garrett Wilson, who's one of the top young playmakers in the NFL. Al Lazard, pretty darn good wideout. Tyler Conklin, you saw the big catch he made at the tight end position today here. So Zach has guys, and the beauty of last week's game, even though the Jets didn't win it against the Kansas City Chiefs, he distributed the ball to 10 different targets. Yeah. You know, give your playmakers a chance to make plays. I say it all the time. Today, maybe not as diverse, but I thought Zach played an okay game today. Maybe not as good as last Sunday, but as we talked about in our post-game show, look, would you rather have a perfect game and you walk off the field with an L, or would you rather have a pretty good game and you get out of there with a victory? I think if you're a fan, if you're any guy in that locker room, you're going to take the latter and live with the result from today.
Listen, there were moments. I mean, he put the ball in the turf, recovered it. You can't have that, though. But he made some big throws when they absolutely needed to. That ball to Garrett Wilson and got some great catches there. And the pass to Ty Conklin, who did his Mark Bavaro
absolutely carrying guys.
Love to see, but that's a big third down throw to make. Okay, the interception was tough to come back with that, but that's a great defensive play that was made. I don't necessarily put a lot of fault, I think, on Zach for that. Would you?
It was a great play by Patrick Surtain. You thought that Garrett Wilson would get a hand on it there a little bit. But see, I have no problem with the play call because hindsight being 20/20, there was a 3rd and 5 from the 27. It's a 3-point game at that point. In the past, you would see teams maybe with Breece Hall having as much success as he had, dial up a run play. And let's say he doesn't get the first down, they have to settle for another field goal. Okay, then it's a 6-point lead, and the Broncos then still have about 2 minutes left on the clock to drive down the field potentially and win that football game. And then if that happened, you would have had fans irate saying they got too conservative on the 3rd down call. No, the confidence, though, that the coaching staff showed, putting the ball in Zach's hands. Hey, Zach, make a throw, end the game, get a first down. Didn't work out the way they wanted to. But then the defense ends up bailing them out and making another huge play.
Defense made play after play after play. After a shaky first quarter, again, you know, they figure it out, especially in deep in the red zone. They kind of tighten up. They force field goals instead of giving up touchdowns. And, you know, what can we say about Quincy Williams? The linebacker is playing as good as any linebacker in the game right now.
He really and truly is. And I don't know if you buy into all the advanced stats, the Pro Football Focus type stuff, but any way you want to measure it, the guy is playing out of his mind. And he was a guy with a lot of raw athletic ability. Jaguars took him in the 3rd round. Didn't quite work out from there with all the turnover they had in Jacksonville. Jets picked him up off waivers, and it looks like a steal for Joe Douglas and company. And yes, he's the brother of Quinnen Williams, and he kind of had to live in his shadow a little bit. But Quincy's turned into a darn good player in his own right. And you saw that play there that iced the game with Breece Hall picking up that fumble that Quincy Williams forced and taking it all the way back to the end zone. The bounce of the ball going the Jets' way, which for so many times in the past it didn't. You mentioned Zach Wilson had the fumble come right back up to him. That play on the touchdown. Sure. Let's say that ball just wanders another inch or two and it goes out of bounds. It's still the Broncos' ball. This game might not be over yet, but the fact that Breece Hall got there, got right up into his hands, game over. And a good job by Breece Hall, John. He has only played 19 snaps on defense the last 2 years, and he had to start today for the injured DJ Reed.
Yeah, and so they got it done with a thin defensive backfield. The Breece Hall and the Breece Hall game.
Breece Hall, Bryce Huff. There's a lot of guys in that category that are helping the Jets win. I mean, Bryce Huff has been a terror on the edge, applying the pressure on the quarterback. That's a guy that the Jets can ill afford to lose. He's a free agent at the end of the year. But Breece Hall, Bryce Huff, Jermaine Johnson again, second-year defensive end applying the pressure. Yeah. And a guy like, Al Woods, for example, early on in that game, forcing Russell Wilson into that safety early in the game in the end zone. Al Woods was a healthy scratch last week.
Sure.
Now he's back up this week, makes a play. It just speaks to the depth that they have on that defensive line. Guys can always make a contribution.
Gives this team reason for hope. Yeah. And obviously, Nathaniel Hackett wanted to downplay the revenge factor going in and facing Sean Payton with all that was said about this, but you could tell, and he gets the game ball afterwards, you could tell he wanted this. And we heard C.J. Uzomah before the game in a little pregame huddle. This team wanted this for Hack.
I've gotten to know Nathaniel a little bit here since he's, joined the Jets, and he is a good dude. Everybody says he's a good dude. The players talked about it all week long leading up to this game. It's a guy you want to fight for. They wanted to go out there and win this game for him. They were able to get that done. Traded text with him after the game tonight, and he just, texted me, said, great day at the office. I can imagine it is, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Walking out of there with the victory. You saw Aaron Rodgers throw a little shade there on social media, too. But, hey, say what you want. He's giving this offense a lot, and they've all had to kind of pick up the slack when Aaron Rodgers went down, and to pivot in the middle of the season to then devise something that's going to work, to maybe play to the personnel strengths of the guys that are still here. I think Nathaniel Hackett's doing a nice job with this team, all things considered.
Listen, over 400 yards of offense today
against
his old team, and that had to hurt hearing those comments from Sean Payton.
Of course, and you're a competitor, right? You don't want to hear that stuff, and if you're Sean Payton, that's a tough one to take today. And
he tried to swallow.
He tried to as best as he could after the game, but if you're going to make those type of comments, you better back them up, but they couldn't.
Listen, a second straight week, the Jets have the better quarterback play. Russell Wilson looked like a disaster today. And here you have hope now for the Jets at 2-3 instead of 1-4. The whole complexion of the season feels different now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's why they had to get this one today. Week 5 in the season, you don't want to ever necessarily categorize a game as a must-win.
No.
But they had to have this,
yeah,
right?
They did. No, they really did.
Now you're 2-3. You're playing Philadelphia next week at home, and yes, they've never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in the history of the franchise, and Philly is undefeated. But Philly has not looked like the world beaters that they were a season ago.
But they know how to win.
But they know how to win. Let's say even if the Jets come up short next week, 2-4 going to the bye week is not going to be a let's cancel the season proposition. You're coming out of the bye, schedule gets a lot more easy for you. You got the Giants, you got the Chargers, you got Vegas. Those are 3 very winnable games for you there, and then that could potentially put you at 5-4 with 8 more games to play the rest of the season. I think any Jet fan would sign up for that if that's where you're standing after 9 games.
No, you're looking at that week 8 game against the Giants.
Oof.
Would you rather be the New York Giants right now or the New York Jets?
Well, that's
all
the
things
thing.
Considered.
Right, that's the thing, and it's a shame because you have all this anticipation. Look, the Jets dealt with it 4 plays into the season.
Sure.
Right, losing Aaron Rodgers. So injuries are a part of the game, and Jets suffered one today in Elijah Vera-Tucker, which indications right now that it might be serious. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow with the calf, and you feel bad for AVT, who's
tough.
Not only a great player and so valuable on an offensive line, he's a real good guy. And he also had a season-ending injury in Denver last year. It's awful.
Wow. Dan Graca. It's always good to talk about a Jets win, isn't it?
John, thanks for having me. And yes, under these circumstances, It's great to be here.
All right, we appreciate you.
Anytime.
Come